Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Christina and we drove to the hypermarket. It's the store where you can buy something for repair. But we will watch with you Christmas things like tree and other interesting things. So let's go. We usually come here for building materials, but every year in November, every hypermarket and supermarket has its New Year's department or Christmas department. In this hypermarket, it's very large. In general, it's an ordinary construction store or rather a network of the largest construction stores in Ukraine, and it's called Epicenter. Since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine began, they started selling food in separate departments. There is also a separate sub-department for everything for the home. It's called Deco, and there you can buy dishes, linens and everything else for the home. Also inside there is a pharmacy, mini stores, sports stores, but still the main purpose why people come here is building materials. By the way, I wonder if your stores sell everything and building materials or only building materials. Write in the comments. Also, there is a large department of toys for children and a department of creativity where there are stationery, but I usually buy paintings by numbers. It's like a coloring book only with paints for those who want to draw but don't really know how. I will show you the story itself and we are on our way to the Christmas department. I will tell you on the way what we have with the preparation for the holidays in Ukraine. Of course we have a war and we don't forget about it, but at the same time people are tired. Nobody can live in fair and negatively all the time. But still most people began to celebrate New Year holidays differently. I think more in the family circle. We have our own traditions and they have always been related to family. We always celebrate New Year's Eve with just the three of us, Bodnik, my husband and me. And the next day we go to my grandmother and parents' house. But last New Year's Eve and in Ukraine we celebrate New Year's more than Christmas. There were very heavy mass shelling all night. This year we have not had mass shelling so far, despite the fact that there is information that Russia has already accumulated and continues to assemble missiles for a massive and prolonged strike, but is waiting for cold weather. That's where the weather really helps us, because it's abnormally warm right now. Now we have about 10 degrees Celsius of heat, while usually there is snow and 0 or less degrees. And last year on December 31st we also had weather of 15 degrees Celsius of warmth. In general, the climate in Ukraine has changed a lot in the last 2 years. Usually we have 4 seasons that are pronounced brightly. But now we don't, and it's probably a plus. I'm not an expert, but it seems to me that the constant rocket fire could affect the climate change in our region. What do you think? Write in the comments. By the way, this year our government want to put the main Christmas tree of the country in the center of Kiev. Last year they didn't put it up because there was no such protection as now, and there are always a lot of people around the main Christmas tree, and of course it can be dangerous. But back to the Christmas department, there are a lot of toys to choose from. Frankly speaking, there is no festive mood at all, and Christmas mood, I'm not sure. And many people don't even put up a Christmas tree at home, although we usually do. In my childhood, most people had a real Christmas tree or a pine tree at home, but now more artificial, of course. We put the tree on the balcony because we have the transparent window to the room as Bonnie every hour throws down the tree. Actually, now I don't want to buy anything new for jewelry, and in general, I don't remember whether I've told you before or not. I want to get rid of everything unnecessary. At a time like this, you realize that what is valuable in life is not the number of things. I know you might think in some of these videos that our lives are ordinary. Not really. For example, we donate on a regular basis, help the army and our friends who are fighting. Unfortunately, not all of Ukraine is as protected as Kiev, so more and more people are moving to Kiev. For example, after we made this video, in the middle of the working day we stood for 20 minutes on the way out of the store because of traffic jams on the road. And last week we stood for a record 3 hours in traffic and drove 20 kilometers for 3 hours because the air alert started and the city froze in traffic, because most of the bridges between the right and left bank are closed. The pictures on the TV is like you're shooting in real life. Let's take a walk around the store. Here I decided that the toys should be lined up nicely so they will sell faster, and it showed my perfectionist side. This is a pillow for those who like to cuddle. As for the blackouts, we haven't had any yet, but they're expected, so we're generally prepared for them, but this year is better than last year. In general, about blackouts, about the rise in prices in Ukraine for everything, and food and gas line, as well as about the changes in our lives and about the life of our relatives in Israel, I told in previous videos on the channel. And here in the video we are in the mug department, and here I really like the way they're sorted by color. And yes, there are very few people in the store right now, as we are shooting this video at 10 a.m. on a weekday morning. The prices at this store are for every budget. There are cheap dishes and very expensive ones. The same goes for everything else. This sleeper set caught my eye, but my assistant said I rarely have guests in my house, and here I agree. The new toys are cool, and by the way, yeah, there's a furniture department in the background. You can buy a sofa, and on the first floor you can buy fridges and a bathroom. In general, it's a big store where you can find everything for the house in one place. There's also a lot of decor here. Actually, I really love looking at all that stuff, but I can't stand that kind of stuff at home because there's a lot of dust on them and they create visual noise. It seems like a lot of junk. And yes, I'm the kind of person who works from home most of the time and I need cleanliness. I don't start working quietly until I wash the dishes or remove unnecessary things from my desk. Last year, when we didn't have light, we bought a lot of candles, but we are most of the people we discuss this issue, we still use some lamps and phones more than candles. Since our generation is already the generation of progress and it's more usual to grab a phone with a power bank than to light candles. Besides, when there are animals in the house, candles are not very safe to light, as Bonik, for example, can easily knock them over accidentally. Next, we go with you to the first floor and look at the main building departments in a glance and buy something to eat in the food department. There are already a lot more people on the first floor. There's a big food section here. You can buy food for home if you are here and don't want to go to a separate store for food. Many people also eat here as there is a food court. And actually, last year during the blackout there were tables with sockets that were powered by generators and many people came to eat here. No, eat of course too, but for working here. It was the same at gas stations and it's free for regular people. There's a little bakery here, by the way, it's really delicious. Actually, this store was opened during the war a year ago and it was built very quickly, about 4 months of construction. Although usually in Ukraine they built everything for years or even tens of years. Although this is more about government's projects, this is a commercial project, so it's not strange. Here we try to find out why the same chocolate with different flavors costs differently, and the difference is as much as 2 times in price. It's some strange. And that's all, we are on our way to the cash desk. There are self-service checkouts and checkouts with cashiers. Since we only bought buns, we go for self-service. I hope you enjoyed this video, give it a like, write comments, I read them all, and check your subscription to the channel. You can support the channel by following the links below the video, and see ya in the new video on the channel. Bye!